There is a specific kind of satisfaction that only comes from one thing: watching the universe hand someone exactly what they deserve. Gift-wrapped, no return policy, consequences fully included. Sometimes it's planned. Sometimes it's accidental. And sometimes, honestly the best times, the universe does the work entirely on its own and you just get to watch. One of these stories involves someone driving in circles for what I choose to believe is still happening right now. Stay for that one. 7 stories. 7 people who got exactly what they asked for. Let's go. Story number 1. The worst robbery in history. Some crimes are bold. Some are calculated. And some are so spectacularly, cosmically ill-fated that you have to wonder if the universe has a sense of humor and a very specific target. A man in San Diego decided to rob a woman walking her dog at night. He ran up behind her, grabbed the bag she was holding, and sprinted away with the confidence of someone who had just made a great decision. The bag contained dog poop. She had just picked it up. It was fresh. He had specifically chosen, out of all the things a person walking a dog at night might be carrying, keys, a phone, a wallet, the one item that was, by any measure, the worst possible score in the history of theft. Now here's the part one love. He didn't just drop it and leave. He threw it down in disgust, pointed his gun at her, and demanded money, as if he was owed something, as if the poop was her fault. He then aimed at her dog and pulled the trigger twice. The gun didn't fire. He ran to a waiting car and fled the scene. The police are, presumably, still searching for him, though I imagine the description extremely unlucky man, possibly still washing his hands, narrows it down. Was it the right crime? Absolutely not. Did it work out for him in any conceivable way? Reader, it did not. Alright, story 2. Same energy, different thief, somehow worse outcome. Story number 2. The suitcase of regret. There is a woman somewhere who had the saddest possible Tuesday, and a man somewhere who had the most confusing one. Her cat died. As one does in this situation, she called the vet, arranged a cremation, and faced the logistical problem of transport. Plastic bag felt wrong, undignified, so she wrapped her cat in a towel, placed it gently in a suitcase, and headed to the subway. On the subway, a man saw a woman with a suitcase and made a decision that seemed, from the outside, like a reasonable criminal opportunity. He grabbed it and ran. I want you to sit with what happened next. Not immediately, but somewhere between the getaway and the destination, when he opened that suitcase and found not electronics, not cash, not anything with resale value whatsoever, but a towel-wrapped cat. There is no good outcome from that moment. There is no version of that story where he recovers gracefully. He cannot return it. He cannot sell it. He cannot explain it. He simply has to live with what he did and what he found, forever as a consequence. The woman, I hope, eventually got her cat cremated. The thief, I hope, thought very carefully about his choices. They made the decision. They just didn't know what was in the bag. Story 3 is similar in structure but involves a cookie, several boxes, and a thief who genuinely deserved more disappointment than they received. Story number 3. The world's worst gift. My brother, I'll call him Sam, because that's his name and he'd want credit for this, came over to my place while I was baking cookies. He ate most of one, put the remaining half in a small box, put that box in a bigger box, then another, nesting them all inside a large box which he then wrapped as a gift. The intended recipient was his friend. A gag gift, a joke delivery, a journey to absolutely nothing. The gift never arrived. Someone broke into Sam's car and stole it. I want to give you a moment to imagine the experience of stealing a beautifully wrapped box, bringing it home with genuine anticipation, carefully working through layer after layer of packaging, and finding, at the center of all of it, half a cookie. Room temperature, already bitten, not even a full cookie, half. I think about that thief sometimes. I think about the specific arc of their emotions, the excitement, the unwrapping, the growing confusion as each box revealed another box, the brief flicker of hope that something valuable must be at the center of all this effort. And then, half a cookie. I have never felt so satisfied about something that happened to someone I've never met. Number 4. No setup needed. Just listen. The $20 swap meat heist. In the 1980s, the narrator owned a beat-up El Camino. A car so lived in it came with surface-mounted speakers already installed by some previous owner who had opinions. One speaker failed. They bought a replacement pair at a swap meet. $20? Cash? No ceremony? Swapped them out and placed the old broken speakers in the new speakers box. Then they came back to their truck and found someone had broken in. The thief had stolen the box containing the old, failed, worthless speakers that had just been replaced. They left no damage. They took their prize and presumably drove home feeling pretty good about their afternoon. Now here's the part one need you to appreciate. This person broke into a car, risked arrest, and walked away with 2 broken speakers worth exactly $0 that couldn't even be sold, returned, or used as anything other than a reminder of the day they chose the wrong truck. I had to laugh. Still laughing, honestly. Okay, we're shifting gears. Stories 5 through 7 are different. These are personal. Someone decided to do something about it. Deliberately, with patience. Story 5 involves a BMW and 3 consecutive traffic lights, and it is deeply, specifically satisfying. 3 lights, 1 message. Some acts of justice are large. Some are operatic. And some are conducted entirely through the medium of traffic, requiring nothing more than a car, a willingness to time your acceleration, and an opponent who doesn't realize they've started a game they're going to lose. The narrator was waiting to enter traffic when a BMW driver saw the gap they were aiming for and deliberately closed it. Not accidentally, deliberately. The narrator had to wait. Fine. They got into traffic eventually, and less than 200 meters later, the lanes split. Now here's the part one love. The BMW needed to merge into the narrator's lane at the traffic lights ahead. The narrator, with the calm precision of someone who had been waiting for exactly this, squeezed the gap. The same gap, the same move. The BMW stopped, but that wasn't enough. The narrator slowed down, approaching the next light, just enough, just deliberately, and timed it so they went through on amber while the BMW caught red. Then they did it again. 3 lights, 3 stops, 3 consecutive, perfectly executed moments of vehicular karma delivered with surgical accuracy to a driver who thought cutting someone off was going to be free. When the BMW finally beeped, not in anger, but in what the narrator generously describes as acknowledgement, it felt like a bow. They made the first move. I just made the last 3. Story 6 is my personal favorite. It involves wrong directions, an insufferable stranger, and a woman who is, in my heart, still circling Road A to this day. The infinite loop. This one belongs to the narrator's father. And I want to be very clear. This man saw an opportunity, assessed it in real time, and executed with the precision of someone who has thought about this exact scenario for years without ever expecting it to actually happen. He was in line at Target. Ahead of him, a woman was giving the staff a hard time. Loudly, repeatedly, in the way of people who believe that volume is a substitute for patience. She needed directions. She was new to the city. She needed to get somewhere, and she was making absolutely certain that everyone within a considerable radius understood this. The employees were struggling. The narrator's father stepped forward. "Hey, I know where that is." He gave her directions, confident, specific, detailed directions, involving 2 roads that encircle the city. Road A on the inside, Road B on the outside. The woman snatched her groceries, declared that at least someone around here knows what they're doing, and stormed out. The employee turned to him and said, slightly confused, "But Road A doesn't connect to Road B." The narrator's father looked back. "Oh, I know. She is still driving. I choose to believe this. Somewhere out there on Road A, turning right every time, following instructions given to her by a man in a Target line who had simply decided she'd earned this particular journey. She is still going." They wanted directions. He gave them directions. Every single one of them was real. And now, Story 7. This one is quieter, more deliberate. The narrator admits they were wrong, and then tells you what they did anyway. I respect the honesty almost as much as I respect the execution. The night I quit. Before I tell you this one, I want to give you the same disclaimer the narrator gave. They admit, looking back, that they were in the wrong. They acted immaturely. The behavior that triggered this was their fault. They know this now. That said, They were working at a store around 1999. Their boss repeatedly dismissed their concerns, ignored their input, and one evening took a coworker's side in a disagreement in a way that felt final. The narrator was scheduled to close that night and open the next morning. They did not open the next morning. What they did instead, that evening, alone in the store after everyone had left, they used the boss's computer. They'd watched her type the password. She was a slow typer, and signed her work email up for at least 20 adult websites. Free ones, the kind that send daily updates. They confirmed every subscription from her inbox while they were logged in. Then they found the floppy disks, the ones the boss used to back up her important data. They went to their truck, retrieved a large speaker magnet, came back, and ran it over every single disk. Then they printed a sign, bold, simple, 2 words, quit. They placed it on the register, cleared the browser history, locked up, and threw the key away. The store did not open on time the next morning. They never heard from anyone there again. Nobody said anything after that. Nobody needed to. 7 stories. 7 moments where the universe, or a person with patience and a speaker magnet, delivered exactly the right consequence at exactly the right time. If I had to pick a favorite, and I genuinely do have one, it's story 6, because the directions were real, the roads exist, and somewhere a woman is still following them. Tell me yours in the comments. Which story hit different? Which one would you have done? Subscribe. I find these every single week, and I am absolutely not stopping.